I don't really start with any sort of concepts, really. I mean, I don't know how you push this program, but a lot of time people push, what's the idea behind the work? I don't really start off with any of that. I just sort of start off with sort of a sketch or a drawing for a form, and then I sort of play around with materials and find what's going to fit that. So it was, for many years, and it still is, it's sort of like just trying things out, just trying to see what will work together to sort of fit whatever sort of gesture or emotion I want from that sketch or that idea, that piece. And then really I try to really not ruin it by thinking what it's all about, what its meaning is, until after I finish the piece, and it just sort of, I guess, feels right to me, feels finished. And then I figure out, what was I thinking about at the time, what is the gesture, why are the materials important for this form in a certain way that it is, and then I come up with, I guess what it means to me. Obviously looking at these things, they're very subjective. I don't really come up with any sort of particular, singular, political agenda or anything. They're just sort of emotions within themselves, sort of a resonating sort of aesthetic presence about them, that they can be sort of approachable but sort of visceral at the same time. And each one is sort of a different little idea or emotion all within itself. And I try to make them as quickly as I can, all at the same time, so that it can sort of have like a body of work together, sort of whatever was going on at the time, they all sort of represent that. I've been really into this whole weighty feeling lately, this big shift, playing with mass and making it really look top-heavy, which a lot of these pieces in here look like they're about to fall over, which I think personally, a lot of things in my life just always feel like I'm sort of on the brink of just falling over. I think a lot of people feel that way, especially artists. You make one wrong step and you're kind of have to backtrack, 10 years or so. So I think that's what these are about to me. That's pretty much it. I mean, you guys have any questions? Material questions or process questions or... it took me a long time to just feel okay with making work that is not sort of meticulously crafted and quickly made and in a way slapdash, which takes a long time to make something look slapdash, by the way. This pattern here, I made it in wax first, and I made that quickly, but this thing weighs 70 pounds, and it's not actually just sitting there by itself. I had to tap. When you tap something, you put threads into something. So I tapped the bottom of it and bolted it to this. So, a lot of that takes a lot of time. There's a lot of casting marks that I got down on here so it doesn't look like it was made, which I'm pretty big into, making them look organic, living, anthropomorphic. I think that creates more of an emotion.
How many piece mold was it in?
This was just a two-part.
And where were the seams?
Right down the center. You can still see them pretty easy if you look. If you know what you're looking for. Yeah. It's just a two-part mold. I'm sure you guys have taken molds, maybe a ceramic class. It was just a foundry mold, which is resin-bonded sand. You mix sand, which is take high temperature, heats like metals, and you mix it with certain resins, makes it set up stone hard. I just did a two-part of this, took it apart, which is most of these are two-part molds. That one, the two pieces I welded together. That piece around the corner was very time-consuming because it was many pieces that I cast separately and welded together, grind down the seams. if you know what to look for, you can see them, but it's very, very time consuming to make it look like it's just kind of there existing all within itself.
You don't get the feeling that's cast, that one that's cast, it doesn't look like it's cast.
It's all cast.
Yeah,
It's
that's very
all
cool.
aluminum and
Yeah.
iron.
Wow.
Did you use mathematics for this, or was it like you just kept working with it until you got it to where you wanted?
It's sort of, it's more like how I know the materials and how I know that they'll react. There's really no way to get, I mean, I'm sure there's a way to get mathematics, but I don't know what the equations would be to make sure that this thing is going to stand upright. You know, I don't know what that would even be, especially with that piece. That piece was like, I really, until the end, I was like, I hope this is going to work. I really hope this is going to work. And it worked out great. So the more I make them, you know, you push materials. That's another thing, you have this idea in a material, but you played around with the material a little bit, but you're pushing it even further. So yeah, things fail on you. You know, it's not like that never happens to me still. I've just sort of, you know, every time that happens, you just learn a little bit more, and then you bring that with you to your next idea, to your next piece. So, no, I don't use mathematics. It's just sort of feel, weight, and knowledge of materials. Yeah.
Anybody have questions? No? Thank you, that was great.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me.